Hello and welcome back to FC26 Spin the Wheel edition, brought to you by myself, Bevchenko. The transfer window has reopened, and in the last episode we brought in 3 players for a combined £90 million, including Barry Yilmaz to provide cover on the left wing, Evan Nilsson up front to add to the Brazilian contingency, and a return to the club for Brennan Johnson. However, first we've got a couple of games to get through before the wheel no doubt causes some mischief and bids for some of our players. We've got Blackpool in the FA Cup third round away at the Seaside. Then we've got a home game against Arsenal. Can we get some revenge? So the worst news possible. We have received an offer from Chelsea for Murillo. Murillo has not had a bid before this season, which means we have to go to the wheel for our best player. 51.9 million. Terrible deal for me. He should be at 100 million. Let's see what the wheel says. Murillo, our greatest player. No doubt to be a club legend if he stayed. Do we have to sell you to Chelsea? The worst news possible. We have to sell Murillo because the wheel has spoken. We can't negotiate. Can't get £100 million. We have to sell him for 51.9. We have lost our best defender who has kept us in so many games this season. So many games, and is the reason we're in the position we're in. I'm absolutely devastated. He's my favourite player in this game. So a trip to the Seaside in the FA Cup third round in what is most likely to be Murillo's last game at the club. Hopefully he can sign off with a resounding clean sheet and maybe a cheeky goal from a corner. We'll see. The game has kicked off. Morgan Gibbs-White to Douglas Luiz. Blackpool have got every man pretty much behind the ball here. It's going to be tricky to break through. It's a good idea from them, to be honest. But we should have enough. And Douglas Luiz is going to get the first crack. The shot's blocked. Hansen plays it down the line. It's been won back by Morgan Gibbs-White. Douglas Luiz plays a stinging ball to Igor Jesus. Looks to cut inside. Bounces off his knee to Coulson. Back to Hansen. Have to be patient, Forest, in this game. Blackpool will no doubt make it difficult. In the last cup game, in the Carabao Cup, if you remember, Huddersfield did exactly the same, held us to a 0-0 draw, and then beat us on penalties. They were absolutely fantastic on penalties, to be honest. Every single penalty was right in the corner. Couldn't save him, even though I went the right way for most. Yilmaz to Morgan Gibbs-White. Looking to make some moves. Once again, cut out by Casey. Started well as the Blackpool centre-backs. And the midfield's got a little left to be desired there. Oof, that was a through ball, which just blocked for Morgan Gibbs-White there. Looking sharp, Forest. Just a case of probing and trying to find a way through. But great interception by Douglas Luiz there. Another strong ball by Morgan Gibbs-White. Igor Jesus is struggling a little bit with the strength of the Blackpool players. Oh, and that's a terrible shot. Meant to play a ball through to Elliot Anderson. Big kick by the goalkeeper. Goes to Yilmaz once again. This ball's not going to leave there half enough. Murillo is on a bit of a run here. Can he sign off in style? It looks like he can. Oh, it's just taken off him at the last second. That would have been some way to sign off your career at the club. Don't know what he was doing there, to be honest. Totally out of position. Well, and Elliot Anderson just passes it to Dan and Doe. Somehow Rainbow kicks the ball out for a throw-in. Hansen lays it back to Coulson. So Forest's options, when Murillo goes, is to stick with Morato. We've also got the player we got as part exchange when we were forced to sell Nikola Milenkovic as well. So that's an option. That's a terrible ball over the top by Yilmaz to Igor Jesus. He's looking a bit frustrated at the moment. Oh, we could potentially look to sign someone. So we'll have to have a think what we can do. Not sure who I want, to be honest. I never thought this day would come. But it has, and we have to deal with it. Dan and Doy. Space is open up for him. Gets a shot away. Blocked again. Absolutely resolute defending by this Blackpool defence today. Taylor flicks the ball through to Ennis, who's offside, which is very interesting because it actually came off Murillo. So surely that would be play on. It came off a Forest defender. That's a bit of a let off for Forest anyway, but we can't complain. Ball over the top to Morgan Gibbs-White. Cut out. Honeyman to Evans. Forest to Josh Bowler, who's signed for the club from Nottingham Forest. He was not in the plans. He was signed for Forest to stay in the Championship. That remarkable season under Steve Cooper, they actually went up. Free header to Barış Yilmaz, goes out for a goal kick again. 38 minutes played. Forest absolutely dominating, but nobody has got the breakthrough just yet. Forest are desperately looking for it. Great win by Morgan Gibbs-White, but doesn't get to Igor Jesus in time. Thornton Anderson with a great win on the ball. Then he looks to get some help, but doesn't come. Yeah, I don't know what Forest's going to have to do here, but we have to do something. Otherwise, it's got penalties written all over it again. Seems to struggle against teams like this. Nice ball over the top, but it's a free kick to Nottingham Forest in a dangerous position here. Douglas Luiz should hopefully get an effort on target. It was an handball. He's going to drill this one, in fact. Knuckleball. Great save by the Blackpool keeper. There's some power behind that for certain. I actually thought it was going to go in. Right on the stroke of half-time as well. So 0-0. And the referee's spray paint has not even dried after that free kick before he blew the whistle. No changes at the moment for Forest. But the rain has come in from the coast. And it's going to be a soggy second half. Dan and Doy done nothing so far. Here he is on the ball. Loses the ball. We'll have to bring Amari Hutchinson on, I think, to try and make something happen. Also a bit of strength in Evan Nilsson. These balls over the top are just getting headed away nice and easy. Oh, and Elliot Anderson got the ball stuck in his feet there. Could have been away. Douglas Luiz looking for help. It's not coming. And Igor Jesus is just surrounded straight away by Blackpool defenders. They've come with a game plan today, and it's absolutely working to a T for them. Here's the first nice shot on target by Igor Jesus, which Peacock Farrell saves with ease. Highly rated goalkeeper is Peacock Farrell. England youth player. He's played at the under-21 level as well. And here's half chance, Igor Jesus. And he's done the job. Solo goal there from Igor Jesus. Just on the stroke of the hour mark. And Blackpool have got it all to do now. Blackpool are going to have to change their tactics. They're going to have to make some chances. Their hopes for penalties has just gone up in flames. But Murillo has just been dispossessed. Great block by Jacuna. First chance of the game for Blackpool. And the goal scorer is going off now. Evan Nilsson getting a run for the last half an hour. Forest got to be careful here. And ball booted away by Elliot Anderson. Evan Nilsson wins the header but knocks it back into Hansen's possession, who gets a shot away. And it's a goal kick. It's Forest reset now. Blackpool looking dangerous now. They have to throw everything at Forest to try and get something out of this game now. Forest going to knock it about nice and easy. They would like to improve their goals for this game. But I'm sure they'd be more than happy with a 1-0 clean sheet. And Douglas Luiz picks that up. This could be a chance on here. And it is. Dannon dives through. He's just smashed it over the bar. Aiming for the top corner. And that's his last piece of the action. As Brennan Johnson gets a run. And Fletcher comes on for Taylor for Blackpool as well. Johnson loses out on that header. Fletcher with his first touch. Goes to Morgan Gibbs-White. Brennan Johnson just using his pace there. Dink over the top to Douglas Luiz, who has got his sprinting boots on now. Plays the ball to Morgan Gibbs-White. This could be a great goal, this. And it is an unbelievable goal. Fantastic by the captain. A lovely ball by Douglas Luiz, who charged forward after picking the ball up in his own half. Not sure the game will show us again. There we go. So, ball picked over and lovely drilled finish. I thought it was more in the top corner, but it wasn't. The keeper should have probably got a hand to it, really. And it's 2-0 to Forest, and you would say that's the victory. As Forest look to progress to the 4th round of the FA Cup. Obviously, previous winners in 1959, so they're due a good run. Semi-finalists last season as well. Tried to intercept it there, but Forest still piling the pressure on. Elliot Anderson wants in on the action. He's doing a lovely little turn there. And the referee is going to give the free kick. He is. Douglas Luiz is going to have a cheeky little quick free kick over the top of the wall. And it hits the defender's head. Will he get another second go? No, he gives it to Dan Ndoye. He gives it to Brennan Johnson, sorry. He gives it to Anderson. Yilmaz looking to cut inside. On his left foot. Gets a shot away. Saved by Peacock Farrell. Morgan Gibbs-White coming off for the last 5 minutes. Hansen also coming off for Blackpool. Can Murillo get a goal in his last game? It was a nice header by Murillo, but I think it was going wide of the target before it got cleared. Mari Hutchinson plays it to Yilmaz. Murillo. He just sees the stars. He knows it's his last game for the club. It'd be amazing if we could keep him for the Arsenal game. Don't think we will, though. Which absolutely petrifies me. Brennan Johnson diving in there and losing out completely. Honeyman with a ball over the top, which is intercepted by Amari Hutchinson. To Yilmaz, back to Hutchinson. Looks to put a ball down the line to Brennan Johnson, who gets it. Uses his pace with aplomb. Oh, and he tried to drill one into the top corner. And that's the end of the game. Nottingham Forest win up in Blackpool 2-0 and progress to the 4th round of the FA Cup. And here is the sad departure of Murillo. I'm not sure if he's sad because he's leaving the club or if he's wearing a suit. I've never seen him wear a suit. And he's gone. Murillo has gone to Chelsea for £51.9 million. A bargain, in my opinion. So we've actually received a couple of bids. We've received a bid from Manchester United for Matt Sells, who actually, at the beginning of the season, if you remember, just before deadline day, Chelsea came in on before the first game of the season. And unfortunately, the wheel said we didn't have to sell Matt Sells this season. So we can reject that offer. However, Romani has received an offer of £25.2 million from AS Roma. Romani has just come into the first team for the first time this season since coming in as part of the exchange deal with Nikola Milenkovic. We had no interest in Romani being part of this team. However, Murillo was sold earlier on, and therefore he's come straight into the team. But we might have to sell Romani as well. So let's see what the wheel says. Romani, will you be returning to Italy and signing for AS Roma? Yes, you will. So Romani will be leaving the club as well for £25.2 million, which means Morato is going to have to come into the starting lineup, which I don't mind, but we're definitely going to have to try and bring in a centre-back during this transfer window. So Arsenal and Nottingham Forest square off in a 5th versus 7th battle. And more importantly, Murillo has left the club, and so there's only one change, and that is Morato coming into the starting lineup. He's played a couple of games, usually in the cup games. I've had him in before, but he's not played a league game, I don't think. And what a way to start your Premier League career with us, and that is against Arsenal, who beat us last time out. And this man, Saka, ran riot against Nico Williams, and it looks like he's going to do the same today. He's just got so much pace. Saka lays it off to Odegaard, back to Saka, looking to put the ball in, but he's offside, fortunately. So Morata, first touch in Premier League football for us. Baris Yilmaz lays it off to Morgan Gibbs-White, plays it back to Jacuna. Lovely little ball to Dan and Doy. Arsenal have got plenty of pace though. We're gonna need it to try and keep up. But DeMarco beats Igor Jesus for the pace there. Forest going to have to be clever in how they approach this game. Morgan Gibbs-White loses out after the header gets intercepted by Odegaard, who's now back on the ball. Driving Arsenal forward. Havertz playing in midfield as well. So William Saliba loses the ball there, but Gabriel mops up his mistake. I'd be happy with a point against Arsenal, to be honest, given the circumstances. I'm also concerned that we may no longer be as solid as at the back as we once were. There's a lovely little ball to Morgan Gibbs-White there. Plays it to Dan and Doy. Dan and Doy cuts inside. Oh, and DeMarco uses an excellent acceleration there. I'd love to see his stats. Gyökeres to Trossard. Tries to keep Dan and Doy off the ball, but fails miserably. But Arsenal once again win the ball back. DeMarco plays it back. Arsenal reset. Gabriel to Saliba. Forest pressing and pressing as quickly as possible to try and win this ball back. Morgan Gibbs-White does well. Baris Yilmaz has the ball. Gives it to Elliot Anderson, who lays it down the line to Morgan Gibbs-White, the captain, who has got absolutely no help and has got about 7 defenders. 7 Arsenal players chasing him. But he cuts inside. He's got a chance. David Raya calling to action there. Ball comes back. Dan and Doy looking a bit of trickery. Fails miserably. Trossard manages to alleviate the pressure. And Arsenal once again reset. 30 minutes gone. Still 0-0 at the City ground. Arsenal winners at the Emirates. Trossard. I think Ola Aina should be able to cope with Trossard. It's Saka that's the dangerous one. If they can keep it away from Saka, we should be okay. Ola Aina. Lovely ball there to Morgan Gibbs-White. Half a chance for the Forest captain. Another save by David Raya. Probably should have done better, really. Well, there's no Morgan Gibbs-White, so that means Elliot Anderson's back on that near post. Sorry, there's no Murillo, rather. Trossard brings the ball out. Dan and Doy looking to get it back off DeMarco, who has excellent ball handling skills. Trossard with a quick pass, loses out again. Forest now in possession. Yilmaz loses it to Saka. Saka looking to bring it forward. Declan Rice with a lovely ball back to Saka, who puts it through. It's blocked. And Forest have a chance, and Elliot Anderson gives away possession needed to Odegaard with a step over to beat his man. But Morata, with his first piece of action for Forest since replacing Murillo in that starting lineup. And he comes out successfully with the ball. Forest looking. Oh, and Gabriel, absolute show of strength there against Igor Jesus to shove him off the ball. And it's 0-0 at the half. No changes so far from Forest. And neither from the Gunners. Fascinating fact if you don't know, Arsenal actually have their red and white kits because of Nottingham Forest, who answered a call by the team in Woolwich, who needed something to wear to play football, and Forest kindly gave him one of their kits. So Nottingham Forest are the reason Arsenal are in red and white. And here's the reason Igor Jesus might have been through on goal, but it was intercepted once again. Trossard, lovely bit of play there to keep hold of the ball. Transfer confirmed there out in the public eye that Murillo has left the club to join Chelsea, and that's why he's not starting today. I think most fans knew that was on the cards. Unfortunately for me, devastation. Odegaard to Havertz. to Declan Rice. Brings it forward. Forest holding on to their fantastic defensive record so far without their star man Murillo. I have no idea who we're going to replace him with. Forest don't normally get linked to centre-backs anymore. So I've got to try and think of someone to keep it realistic. Ideally, would be Brazilian, but we shall see. Odegaard with a lovely ball over the top there to Gyökeres. It's been beaten. Elliot Anderson fouled there. In fact, I think it's gone the other way. Havertz, oh no, it's not. Havertz's gone off after his foul there. Zubimendi comes on in his place. Forest looking for support and Nico Williams provides it. There's half a chance here for Forest if they can find someone in the box. It's gone for a corner. Great play by Nico Williams. Douglas Luiz puts one really far back there, but easily picked up by David Raya, who rolls it out to the edge of the box for Odegaard to bring it forward. It's quite a risky move, but it paid off for them. Declan Rice keeping it simple with a pass. Liverpool gone 3-1 up against Burnley, as you'd expect. Nico Williams again. Shrugging off Saka. Oh, he's been dispossessed there. A stray pass to Morgan Gibbs-White. It's intercepted. Declan Rice just passing the ball around nicely. I think Forest would be happy with a point today, considering they don't have the greatest record against the top four sides. They did beat the champions-elect Manchester City, who are so far in front at the moment. So that was a big win. 111 passes to 48 with a 91% accuracy from Arsenal, which says it all really about how well they're playing today in their usual style. Nico Williams hesitated and lost the chance to pick up the ball there. Jacuna loses out to Zubimendi. Gyökeres, unbelievable save by Matt Sells. Dangerous by Forest there. Saka with the corner. Gyökeres tries to win it. He's gone down in the box. Referee says play on. Sure, VAR will have a look at that. Martinelli. Forest got to be careful. Martinelli well known to quite a few of the Forest boys from International. And Saka gets a shot away. Matt Sells holds on to it. It was straight at him, in fact. So Forest quite fortunate there. Baris Yilmaz. What a beautiful through ball by Igor Jesus to Morgan Gibbs-White, who cuts it back to Yilmaz. There's no support now, so Forest are going to have to play it back, and Odegaard takes it off Elliot Anderson. That's probably the last chance of the game, I reckon, for Forest. Arsenal might have another chance in them, though. Time's running out. 1 minute added on. Murillo steps up. Murato steps up. Morgan Gibbs-White chasing shadows, as they've been doing all day. And that's the end of the game. 0-0 between Nottingham Forest and Arsenal at the City Ground. It's a point that Forest will probably be more happy with. It keeps them in front of Arsenal in the league. So that result leaves Nottingham Forest in 5th place on 43 with a nice little gap of 5 points from Aston Villa. Manchester City continue to run away with the league, also 8 points clear of Liverpool in 2nd place. And that's all for today. So join us tomorrow's episode where we will be travelling back to Europe on our quest for some silverware, which owner Evangelos Marinakis is desperate for the club to get. Until next time, cheers.